Hello and welcome, my name is Savannah, and today we'll be diving into the lore, history, and families of Pleasantview in The Sims 2. So I have a series on my channel where I dive into the lore, history, and families of Sims 3 worlds in the order that they were released in, so I decided to do that in The Sims 2 as well, starting with the iconic Pleasantview. So without further ado, let's load into Pleasantview. Pleasantview is one of the 3 worlds that shipped with the Sims 2 base game, and probably the most popular of the 3. It is a small, quiet waterfront suburb surrounded by mountains. The world description states, quote, "A lot has happened in 25 years, but some new faces in town are stirring up rivalries and creating tension for the once happy families. Can anything be done to get the neighborhood feeling good again?" Pleasantview was founded by Gunther Goth, the father of Mortimer Goth, and it is implied/theorized that Pleasantview is Neighborhood 1 from the Sims 1 base game. This would make sense because Gunther also founded Old Town from the Sims 1, which is a sort of extension of the base game neighborhood. So if Pleasantview is indeed Neighborhood 1, it would make sense that Gunther founded both, as Old Town and Neighborhood 1 are essentially the same neighborhood. There are a total of 6 playable families residing in Pleasantview and 2 families in the family bin. The family bin is basically where created households that are not placed in the world are stored. Typically in these world deep dives, I usually separate the families by returning families and new families. However, in Pleasantview, basically all of these families appear elsewhere in the Sims franchise, so I'll be separating them by playable families and families in the family bin. So first, let's check out the playable families in Pleasantview. First, we have the iconic Goth family. The family resides at 165 Sim Lane in Goth Manor and is made up of Mortimer Goth and his 2 children, Cassandra and Alexander. The Goths are the richest family in Pleasantview. Mortimer Goth is an old man with old money from the old country. He is an elder, his zodiac sign is Cancer, his aspiration is knowledge, and he is a retired mad scientist. He has 9 cooking, 10 logic, and 10 cleaning skill. His parents are Gunther and Cornelia Goth, who are both deceased. As stated, Gunther founded Pleasantview. Strangely, both Gunther and Cornelia died in fires, separate fires. Some speculate that Goth Manor from The Sims 1 burned down due to Mortimer having a memory of a fire. I have a sort of theory about this possible fire. If you want to hear more about that, check out my Goth Manor video. Mortimer's grandparents on his father's side are Victor and Gretel Goth. His maternal grandparents are Simon and Prudence Crumplebottom. He also has 2 deceased aunts, Frida Goth, his father's sister, and Agnes Crumplebottom, his mother's sister. Mortimer is a returning Sim from The Sims 1. He formerly resided in Neighborhood 1 with his daughter Cassandra and his wife Bella. He also appears as a child in The Sims 3 in Sunset Valley, along with Bella. Now you may be thinking, wait a minute, where's Bella? Unfortunately, she seems to have mysteriously disappeared. She appears on missing persons milk cartons in the game, as well as in newspapers. If you are already familiar with Sims lore, you know what happened, but let me give a quick rundown. Bella was last seen peering through a telescope at the home of Don Lothario, a fellow Pleasantview resident, before suddenly disappearing. If you play The Sims 2 Strange Town, you'll see her walking around the town, seemingly with no memory of how she got there. What happened? Well, she was abducted by aliens and ended up stranded there, likely after whatever spaceship she was on crash-landed there. She's seemingly never able to return home. As in The Sims 3, she appears in Lunar Lakes, a world on another planet that takes place in the future, and she is deceased. Mortimer appears to still be mourning the loss of his wife, as above his bed hangs a picture of Bella. However, he does appear to have moved on rather quickly and is currently dating Dina Caliente of the Caliente household. Something odd to note is that his memories show Bella's abduction being a positive memory, which is bizarre as abduction is only able to be stored as a negative memory through regular gameplay. This will become especially suspicious once we take a closer look at his new lady and her family. Interestingly, in an interview with Bella Goth on the old Sims 2 website, Bella reveals that Mortimer actually invented the Elixir of Life, an aspiration reward that extends a Sim's lifespan by 3 days after each drink. This may explain why Bella, when you see her in Strange Town, and if you dig into the game files in Pleasantview, is only an adult and significantly significantly younger than Mortimer, despite them being the same age in The Sims 1 and 3. While the interview states she believes Mortimer may have tried the elixir when inventing it and had it backfire, thus causing him to age forward instead of becoming younger, I think she likely took the elixir herself and either lost her memory of it when abducted or simply does not want to admit it. Anyway, the pair's 2 children also reside in Goth Manor. Cassandra Goth is a mysterious young woman. She is an adult and works as a field researcher in the science career. She is a Virgo and her aspiration is family. She has 1 cooking, 1 logic, and 4 cleaning skill. She, like her father, is a returning sim from The Sims 1. She, of course, lived at Goth Manor in The Sims 1 with her parents as a child. Here, she is currently engaged to the town Casanova, Don Lothario, much to the dismay of her father. Unfortunately, Dawn is nowhere near as committed to the relationship as she is. There is a wedding arch and other wedding decor in the backyard of the home. When you first play the Goth family, both Cassandra and Dawn will be there in the backyard, and the game will have a pop-up suggesting the two tie the knot. If you try to have them get married without first improving their relationship, Dawn will leave Cassandra at the altar. Cassandra is best friends with Mary Sue Pleasant of the Pleasant household, and on the first day of playing the Goth family, she will go visit the Pleasant household. Cassandra is also best friends with Darren Dreamer of the Dreamer household. Alexander is the youngest member of the Goth family. He is a child and a private school A student. His zodiac sign is Cancer, and he is a very bright child. He was born not long before Mortimer became an elder, and Bella seems to have been abducted shortly before he aged up into a child. Let's zoom out a bit and take a look at the Goth Manor home. On the lot is the Goth family graveyard. Buried there are Mortimer's parents, Gunther and Cornelia, Gunther's parents, Victor and Gretel, Cornelia's father Simon, and her sister Agnes. Oddly, the grave of Prudence Crumplebottom, the mother of Cornelia, is not in the family graveyard, and her grave is actually nowhere in the game. This may have just been a mistake by the developers. However, some think her grave may have been destroyed in the alleged fire that burned down the Goth Manor in The Sims 1. Additionally, Mortimer's aunt Frida is not buried in the graveyard either, but in The Sims 3, she is a ghost in Moonlight Falls, so she likely still resides there. Lastly, there is a telescope on the top floor balcony of the mansion. This is interesting given Bella's abduction. Perhaps Bella was abducted here, or maybe Mortimer uses it to search the sky every night in hope of spotting her, or perhaps being abducted himself. Now let's do a 180 and have a look at the Brokest family in Pleasantview, the Brokes. The family resides at 55 Woodland Drive and is made up of struggling single mom Brandy Broke and her 2 sons, Dustin and Beau. As their surname suggests, they are tight on simoleons. Brandy is an adult and is unemployed, though she was formerly a drive-through clerk in the culinary career before she had her son Beau. She is an Aries and her aspiration is family. She has 8 cooking, 2 mechanical, and 3 cleaning skill. She is struggling to tame her rebellious teen son Dustin while also making sure her toddler son Beau grows up as well as possible despite their circumstances. While she does not appear in other mainline Sims games, her parents, Bob and Betty Newby, both resided in Neighborhood 1 in The Sims 1. Additionally, they appear as teens in Riverview in The Sims 3. They are now deceased. Brandy's grandparents on her mother's side are Vadim and Fatima Simovich, and her paternal grandparents are Robert and Mags Newby. Brandy has recently become a widow after her husband, Skip, drowned in a suspicious pool ladder accident. The pool in the back of the home has no ladder, suggesting that Skip drowned due to not being able to exit the pool. This is a reference to how many Simmers enjoy removing ladders from their Sims pools to drown them. Skip appears in The Sims 3 in Riverview as a child. His parents were Flat and Flo Broke, who are both deceased, and in The Sims 3, he has an older sister named Ruby. Brandy also appears to currently be pregnant with her and Skip's 3rd child. This suggests that Skip passed very recently. Destin is a rebellious teen. He's a public school C student, an Aries, and his aspiration is fortune. He has 1 creativity skill. He also works part-time as a street hawker in the criminal career. Despite his rebellious exterior, his bio implies his behavior is really more of a cry for help. Most likely, he is lashing out due to the pain from losing his father. He is currently dating fellow teen Angela Pleasant of the Pleasant family. However, unfortunately, he is enemies with her father as he disapproves of their relationship. On the first day of playing the Broke family, Dustin will bring Angela home with him after school. Beau is just a toddler trying to grow in this unfortunate unfortunate family situation. He is a Gemini and has no toddler skills. He has almost learned to walk though, and has begun potty training. However, he is nowhere near being able to talk. Honestly, I wish this family nothing but the best, but I don't see their circumstances improving anytime soon, especially given the fact that Brandy is about to be an unemployed single mother of 3. At 150 Main Street resides the infamous womanizer Don Lothario. Don is an adult and a Leo. His aspiration is romance, and he works as an intern in the medicine career. He has 3 mechanical, 2 logic, and 4 cleaning skill. Don is the town Casanova and is romantically involved with several women around town. As mentioned, he is engaged to Cassandra Goth. However, he does not seem too excited about it, as his memory of getting engaged is marked as negative. He is also romantically involved with both the Caliente sisters as well as Kaylin Langerak, one of the NPC maids in town. His parents are Nicolo and Adriana Lothario, who are both deceased. His grandparents on his father's side are Carmela and Mama Lothario, and his maternal grandparents are Primo and Isabella Fiorello. As mentioned, he might be connected to Bella Goth's disappearance. When he first moved to Pleasantview, Bella visited his home to welcome him. He seems to have misinterpreted the gesture and attempted to make out with her, but was of course rejected. Bella was last photographed looking through a telescope outside his home. Dawn also appears in The Sims 3 in Riverview, having been teleported into the past by a group of laughing women. Most likely, these women are the 4 women he is currently romantically involved with, enacting revenge after discovering his unfaithfulness. Lastly, a fun fact I discovered is that the word Lothario literally means a man who behaves selfishly and irresponsibly in his relationships with women. I have no idea how I never noticed that. You learn something new every day. The Caliente sisters live nearby at 170 Main Street. They are 2 twin sisters, Nina and Dina. The girls have rather different personalities, but appear to be rather close. Also, despite supposedly being twins, they actually have different zodiac signs. Dina is an opinionated woman with big dreams and a big personality. She's an adult and unemployed, a Sagittarius, and her aspiration is fortune. She has 3 charisma and 1 creativity skill. She is currently dating Mortimer Goth and is a massive gold digger. Upon loading into their household, a pop-up states, quote, Dina Caliente is digging for gold, and she wants to lay claim on Mortimer. Don't wait for him to make the big move. Be aggressive. She is also romantically involved with Don Lothario. She is also a widow. She was previously married to Michael Batchelor, the brother of Bella Goth. She married him when he was an elder, most likely for money. His urn sits in their home. She was also having an affair with Don when she was with Michael as well. Weirdly, her memories show she had her first kiss with him when she was a teen, but he would have been at least an adult at that time. Nina is unemployed. She's a Scorpio and her aspiration is romance. She has 2 body and 1 cleaning skill. She is romantically involved with Don as well. The sisters don't appear to be aware that they are both with him. There are several scripted events that may cause Don to get caught by the 2 of them. The sisters' parents are Flamenco and Nigot Caliente, who are both deceased. Flamenco had a brother named Tango Caliente. Flamenco was the result of his father, Nestor Caliente, being abducted by aliens and impregnated by Pollination Technician 7. Nestor was married to a woman named Dulcinea Caliente. This means that Flamenco was an alien-human hybrid, and so were Dina and Nina. Nigot died when the girls were children. Her parents were Tariq and Benazir Al-Mahmoud. Interestingly, Dina and Nina moved to town the day before Bella disappeared. This is especially suspicious given the fact that Bella was abducted by aliens and the sisters are part alien. Additionally, they appeared to swoop in on Mortimer Goth almost immediately. The sisters also appear in The Sims 3 in Barnacle Bay, having moved there after Pleasantview to start fresh. I imagine they move after Mortimer dies and they get a nice chunk of money. Next, we have the Dreamer household at 195 Main Street. The family is made up of Darren Dreamer and his son Dirk. Darren is an adult and an unemployed aspiring artist. Unfortunately, art doesn't seem to be paying the bills. In fact, the household has 3 overdue bills. He used to work as a field sales representative in the business career, but quit around when his wife, Darlene, passed away. He is an Aries, his aspiration is knowledge, and he has 7 creativity skill. His parents were Davis and Delilah Dreamer, who are both deceased. His grandparents on his mother's side are Seth and Linda DeRong, and his paternal grandparents are Delmar and Dacia Dreamer. He is a widow. His wife was Darlene Dreamer, and she died in a fire. Her grave is in their backyard. Her parents were Omar and Mariana Matlipin. Both Darren and Darlene, as well as both of their parents, appear in Lucky Poems in The Sims 3. There, the pair together are young adult and romantic interests but have not officially started dating. Darren is best friends with Cassandra Goth and is actually in love with her. She is unaware of this, and thus his love is unrequited. Because of this, he considers Don Lothario, her fiance, his enemy. However, Don just considers him an acquaintance. Dirk Dreamer is a teen and is doing his best to get back on track after the passing of his mother. His memories show he aged up to a teen rather poorly after his mom passed. He went from an A+ student to a D student. However, he seems to have recovered and he is now an A- public school student. He is a Virgo and his aspiration is fortune. He has 2 charisma and 1 logic skill. He is also dating Lilith Pleasant of the Pleasant family. The Pleasant family lives at 215 Sim Lane. Despite their surname, they are not at all a pleasant family. They appear to be the perfect upper middle class family, but that is all fake. This family is overwhelmingly dysfunctional. Daniel Pleasant is the patriarch of the family. He is an adult and works as an assistant coach in the athletic career. He's a Virgo and his aspiration is romance. He has 6 charisma, 6 mechanical, and 9 body skill. He is married to Mary Sue Pleasant, but their marriage is on the rocks. They seem to argue quite a bit, and his memories show both his engagement and marriage to Mary Sue being negative, so he's been unhappy in his relationship for a while. As a result, he is having an affair with their maid, Kaylin Langerak. His parents are Jeff and Diane Pleasant, who are deceased. His paternal grandparents are Les and Kinda Pleasant, and his maternal grandparents are Marshall and Melinda Danders. He also has a sister, Jennifer Burb of the Burb family. Daniel is a returning Sim from The Sims 1. He lived in Neighborhood 1 as a child with his parents and sister. Additionally, both him and Mary Sue appear as young adults in Sunlit Tides in The Sims 3. There, they are a freshly married couple and much happier than they are now. Mary Sue is a hard-working woman. She is an adult, a Gemini, her aspiration is fortune, and she works as an intern in the politics career. She has 2 charisma, 2 logic, 1 creativity, and 1 cleaning skill. She is extremely dedicated to her career, and this is part of the reason for her deteriorated relationship with her husband. This is also the reason she has not yet noticed his affair. However, when you first play the family, Daniel has the day off from work and can invite over the maid, Kaylin. After she is done working, she asks if she can stick around and hang out. Daniel usually has a predetermined wish to woohoo, which you can of course choose to complete. At the same time, Mary Sue will get a chance card at work, which may result in her being fired or demoted and then coming home early, thus of course catching them. Mary Sue was adopted as a toddler, and her parents are Herb and Coral Oldie of the Oldie household. Angela is one of the couple's twin daughters. She's a teen, a public school B student, an Aquarius, and her aspiration is popularity. She has 3 cooking skill, she is the popular, nicer twin, and her parents seem to favor her over her sister. As a result, she has enemies with her sister. Angela is also dating Dustin Broke, but her father disapproves. Lilith is the more rebellious twin. She's a public school D student, an Aquarius of course, and her aspiration is also popularity. She has no skills. She is the polar opposite of her sister and is the problem child of the family. Her memories show that their parents have favored Angela since they were toddlers, as Angela seems to have been taught all of her toddler skills, but Lilith was not. As mentioned before, Lilith is dating Dirk Dreamer, however he has not yet met her parents. Those are all of the playable families in Pleasantview, so now let's look at the families hanging out in the family bin. They are a family of 3 who have moved to Pleasantview to live a more peaceful life after having previously lived in the city. Jennifer Burb is an adult and is unemployed. When she was a child, she dreamed of being a soccer superstar, but has seemingly given that up for the soft life. She is a Gemini and her aspiration is fortune. She has 4 body and 2 creativity skill. She was formerly Jennifer Pleasant before she got married. She is the sister of Daniel Pleasant and, like him, appeared in The Sims 1 Neighborhood 1 as a child. John Burb is her husband. He is unemployed, an Aries, and his aspiration is family. He has 3 charisma and 1 logic skill. He is also a returning Sim from The Sims 1. He lived in Old Town as a child with his parents Brad and Tiffany Burb, who are both deceased. His paternal grandparents are Benjamin and Susie Burb, and his maternal grandparents are William and Anastasia Marsh. Both John and Jennifer also appear in Dragon Valley in The Sims 3 as engaged young adults. Lucy is the couple's child daughter. She is a mischievous young girl. She's a public school B student, a Cancer, and has no skills. Our final family are the Oldies. Herb and Coral Oldie are Mary Sue Pleasant's parents. Herb is an elder. He is unemployed, though formerly worked in the business career, but either quit or was fired. He is a Libra and his aspiration aspiration is romance. He has 4 charisma, 3 logic, and 3 creativity skill. His parents are Myron and Irma Oldie, who are both deceased. Coral is also an elder, and she too is unemployed. She's a Virgo, and her aspiration is family. She has 1 cooking, 1 charisma, and 2 cleaning skill. Her parents are Bruno and Mammy Rugburn, and both are deceased. So those are all of the pre-made families in Pleasantview. There are a myriad of townies and NPCs in the game, but they are unremarkable, so I won't be talking about most of them. But I would like to briefly talk about 2 of them, Gordon King and Kaylin Langerak. They are the only 2 NPC Sims who have relationships with the pre-made families. Gordon King is a burglar. He's a Virgo, and his aspiration is knowledge. He is friends with Dustin Broke, and he seems to have beaten him in a fight at some point. He also caught Lilith Pleasant and Dirk Dreamer sneaking out at some point, and he also robbed Calientes. Kaylin Langerak is one of the 3 NPC maids in Pleasantview. She's romantically involved with both Don Lothario and Daniel Pleasant. She's an Aquarius, and her aspiration is family. She's a very skilled sim. She has 10 cooking, 1 mechanical, 1 charisma, 3 body, 1 logic, 4 creativity, and 10 cleaning skill. She also appears in The Sims 3 in Sunset Valley as a child, and is frequently cleaning up after her very messy family, giving some context to her eventual career choice. So that is the lore and all of the families of Pleasantview. I'm very glad I decided to do this video. I grew up on The Sims 3, so I don't really know much about The Sims 2. I learned quite a bit just from the research for this video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below which of the remaining 2 base game worlds I should do next. There are 3 base game worlds that come with The Sims 2. I'm not sure what order to do them in, so let me know what you would like me to do next down below. Anyway, I'm not really sure what my next video is going to be, but it'll be next Friday as always, so I hope to see you all there. Bye bye!